Social conducting on thoroughness for the old and incapable is lot high in Scotland and Wales rather than England, figures Shaw. In England, £310 per man is consumable every year on services such as thoroughness, homes and household assist for everyday tasks such as wash and dress. But in Scotland, £445 is consumable, 43% more than rather than in England, and in Wales it is £414, 33% more than. The analyse has been manufactured by the public health basis with formal conducting and people information. The belief tank told the differences were enormous and had a main effect on the thoroughness how could be stipulated by councils to these sensitive groups. Thoroughness conducting is potential to be a considerable element in the taking into account it accounts for more than rather than part of regional credibility budgets. Ministers in England include pledged how new plans for thoroughness, consisting financing, will be published quickly. Public Sphere reporter Alison Holt above 10 months, a View crew and I saw for by ourselves the dilemmas how public thoroughness personnel in Somerset were cladding nearly every day, as they juggled the growing requirement for assist of human beings who are older or incapable near the Shire Justice's harsh finance pressures. At the cardiac of the hard decisions they were possessing to do were human beings, such as 37-year-old Martine. She has harsh joint inflammation and her man David was depleted of considerate for her and their triplet sons, day and overnight. Or Gender, who had training disabilities. His household had to struggle for a location at a expert housing household, that price more than rather than the Justice Thick felt capable to pay in. And later down there was Varvara, confused by imbecility, whose child examined the day center she visited as a lifetime link. It closed sense of justice intermittent. They were proposed alternatives, but they lose thing how treated. The pressures we saw are not distinctive to Somerset, they are creature florid through the nation as our people ages. Two things were especially remarkable. The at first was how difficult human beings were worked to pin the gaps in a framework sagged by the tension. The other was the brutality of vision families, frequently at a period of meltdown, creature confronted by a thoroughness framework how is disconcerting, difficult to swim and wherever few very aware which they will include to pay to get the supporting they requirement. Social conducting per chief tends to be high in some components of the UK rather than it is in England. Economies of scope and the village environment of Wales and Scotland are key drivers for the. But the analyse suggests which is event in thoroughness conducting far outstrips the. For sample, public health conducting in Scotland is fair 8% a year more than rather than it is in England, 5 times less than rather than the distinction in thoroughness financing. Anita Charlesworth, of the Public Health Basis, told, time down there are differences in the populations and as necessary of the UK countries, the cannot perhaps expense for the enormous differences in per chief conducting on openly funded public thoroughness examining the scope of the issue in England, it is maybe unsurprising how the length delayed public thoroughness verdant document is yet upcoming. A cause governments include struggled is how any decision is costly. But conversion is currently, more than rather than always, necessary to do the public thoroughness framework equitable and stable in the next. The analyse shows conducting per chief bring down by a 10 one-day bloating was undertaken in expense among 2010 to 11 and 2016 to 17 in England. If financing levels had grown up in link in consumer demand, councils would be conducting in excessive of £23 bn a year quite rather than the £17 bn put towards, the belief tank told. Above the 6-year time conducting had as well fall in Scotland and Wales, though not by as lot. In all components of the UK, thoroughness is tool-tested in human beings anticipated to promote to the price of their thoroughness. But with degeneration, differences include founded in approaches to thoroughness. In England, nobody in holdings of above £23,250 has to pay the complete price of their thoroughness. But in Scotland private thoroughness, such as assist wash and dress, is stipulated complimentary to everyone evaluated as creature titled to thoroughness. Meantime, in Wales the price of assist in the household is covered, now at £90 a 1 week. The spot at that individuals are exposed for the complete price of all some services is as well high rather than the £23,250 limit. It tool the sum human beings pay for thoroughness is potential to be high in England, especially for older human beings who are more than potential to include constructed upholdings rather than junior incapable human beings. The price of thoroughness is one of the main factors over why growing numbers of human beings fight out of the supporting they requirement, Age UK says. It estimates down there are about 1.4 million above 65s who get no thoroughness or not quite thoroughness. Advisor Ian Hudspeth, of the Regional by the Government Associate, told the framework was at break spot. More than human beings are more incapable to get the quality assurance and safe thoroughness and supporting that enables them to dwell more than carrying and freelance lives. He added it was completely urgent the by the government took activity. Ministers in England has been promise a verdant document will be published installation out its plans to reformation public thoroughness with the 2017 general poll. A quantity of options are understood to include been debated consisting a devoted public thoroughness tax on the above 40s and request for several type of deposit for those in considerable holdings, such as characteristic, in back for more versatile right to supporting. But the publishing of the verdant document has been detained on multiple occasions as ministers include focused their attentions on Brexit. The Division of Public Health and Public Thoroughness told the plans would be published at the One Prospect and sharpened out a domestic recruiting campaigning to promote human beings to use for jobs in the thoroughness segment had already begun.